Hello, Smite fans. Welcome to episode 15 of the Gank Right Lane podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the start of Summer Masters. How are you doing today, John?
Good. As soon as you started this, my entire web browser crashed. So pulling everything back up here.
Beautiful,
All
beautiful.
right, how you been?
I'm doing pretty good.
All
Doing
right.
pretty good.
Sorry, man. I'm okay. I think I got it
Yeah,
back
yeah,
now.
no, it's fine. There was some big news that has happened during the week, though. Before we get into things, it's
You said,
confirmed, right, that he signed officially. We just don't know where yet.
I
How do you
mean,
pronounce his
I don't know
name?
if it's not Kana. I'm pretty sure, right? Um,
Kznya.
or actually, it's with an O. Connah is how it's supposed to be. I guess the O in front of his name is what that's for.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's real. I mean, it was literally the same exact thing that Panicat posted, and people are saying that was just a joke.
Right.
Um, and so I mean, yeah, it's literally the same thing. It has him signing a contract that says it's official.
Right.
So maybe he's coming in. Maybe he's just messing with people. But definitely, I mean, roster change-ups keep things fresh for me.
Right.
They keep it interesting. It sucks having to like send someone down or have someone just stop playing Smite altogether because of it. But
Right. It's the nature of the
um,
beast.
exactly. So I mean, what realistically, gladiators and kings have their solo laners kind of on the edge,
Yeah.
is what I'd imagine. But what was I think. See, I don't remember where I saw this or heard this, but I think it was Kirmi was saying that any talk about roster changes with the Glads isn't going to be true.
Right.
So I would imagine after that they're staying together. But then I looked for that tweet or whatever and I couldn't find it. So
Right.
maybe he changed his mind.
Yeah. I don't really know why they wouldn't look to make a change, other than the fact that they'd be bad anyways. But
Right. I mean, well, maybe they're thinking, because that was some drama too that was going on. They said they didn't scrim. The gladiators didn't scrim at all
right.
before this. And because Snoopy and Scary D weren't showing up to scrims. So maybe they think it's just they just need more practice, maybe.
Right. But
You know,
Scaredy and Snoopy don't care to practice. You know what I mean?
right. But I mean, if they see this now and they're posed with the threat of being off the team or showing up practice, I feel like that's a bit of an incentive.
Right.
I'd be showing up anyway. But
Yeah.
right, so I guess they think they can just ride it out. Practice will make the change, make the difference.
I
Or
mean,
maybe they
it sucks though because after the tournament Erupt Crimson had, the fact that Snoopy's still in the league and he isn't is a crime. Like,
yeah, he played very very well. Um, what for like the start he went undying for a while. I guess probably not against Hex Mambo.
yeah,
No, he actually died a lot against. He didn't get a single kill against Hex Mambo. But then after that, yeah, he started to look really good. Which, um, I saw he had in the play-ins when he was on the, um, what was then the Wargs. He had kind of a stinker of a tournament there, and I mean that's now what
right,
people are remembering him by.
right, yeah, no,
Um,
that tournament kept him out of the league.
So I mean, it was nice he had like a little bounce back here.
Right.
In the next big tournament, he's able to show up. But yeah, they started to ban him out. I feel like in his how'd he play in against the Wargs, so the Valkyries Wargs games. Yeah, I mean he played well. Too bad. But I don't think I mean even if they end up winning out there, I don't know if they do you think they do any better than the Wargs against the Hounds?
Not really.
Yeah.
They're probably a pretty similar level team.
Yeah. But yeah. I'm ready for Snoopy to go.
Yeah.
And Scary D especially. I think he played well what sucked is, SPL teams only got one game this tournament. Entire thing while all these SEC teams are getting 5, 6, 7.
Right. Yeah.
So as I said, I don't know, one set's hard to base their performance off of.
Yeah.
I feel like. But yeah,
The thing
Scary
that
D
sucks for
against
the Glads is if they do want to make changes, solo's probably the role you want to have to make a change at least.
yeah.
There's
I think
no solo who could come up that would make you any better than Scary D would.
Scary D looked like the worst player on that team in this tournament. He looked like the worst player in the tournament, honestly. That might not be true, but
Imagine
he was
being
rough.
the worst player on a team that has Snoopy on it. Like
Snoopy played well,
he had a couple of not terrible games for sure, but
right? It just wasn't enough to stop Johnny on the Hex
yeah.
Mambo. That guy's
By a
good.
couple, I mean one. He went
Yeah.
0-2 in one in the first game, and then he went 8-4-8 in the
8-4.
second game.
Well, he started out like 7-0 too. So
Yeah,
took a hard hit after that first death.
yeah.
So where do you want to start in this tournament?
I don't know.
Kind
I
of
didn't
go through it.
watch like any of it. I was busy. I think I watched one game of the Hounds Work set, and that's I think all I caught. So
Fair enough. Let me see. Oh, I forgot that game to 3. Oh, okay, yeah. The um. Oh, well, it doesn't have the data in for it yet. But
of course it doesn't.
the Hounds tossed that first game. I remember that at least. Yeah, I just want to kind of go over the fact that this tournament, the entire format of this event has been like really bad.
It's
You know,
dog shit.
they had the regular season. They had like 2 weeks off of Smite. Then they had a play-in tournament
Yeah.
or a seeding tournament. So what's the point of the regular season at that point? That should have just been gone. Then 2 more
And
weeks off.
all
So
of the seeding tournament was best of fives, and there has not been a best of five yet in this tournament.
right. And yeah, we've seen all that entire those best of 5 matches played. And then the Kings and the Ravens and the Leviathans get over here, get to play one game, and now they're out. And now they have another month off of Smite. So you just took especially being the Ravens, you just took a month break, came in, played one game, and now you have another month break.
Right.
Like you're getting paid to play Smite, but you're not playing any Smite.
Yeah, no, it was set up
It's
like it's dog shit. It's
right.
so bad.
It's
Literally, you want to know a better tournament format than what they did? Literally any other tournament format that has ever been conceived. Do anything
yeah. I
else
mean,
at all, and it'll be better.
well, last year's was perfectly fine. I don't know why they changed it after that. I don't remember exactly what they did, but I know it was nothing like this.
Yep.
And it worked out just fine.
Yeah, the Glads got eliminated in a qualifying match and were the third SPL team eliminated because two SPL teams play their actual tournament matches before the qualifying matches were played.
Yeah, they had before the bracket was even finished.
It doesn't
They
make
played
any goddamn
the
sense.
SEC teams were still playing, and so after I watch, the Dragons beat the Kings, why do I have to come down and watch the Valkyries and the Sages play? Like, I'm not interested in that. It was just, it felt really bad to watch, and from what I've heard, it felt really bad to play as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, either we need best of fives or like a double elimination at this point or something. Both, preferably.
The seeding tournament probably shouldn't have existed.
Yeah.
Or if it did exist, it should have had stakes. You should have been able to be eliminated in the seeding tournament.
Right. Well, that's normally, I feel like, what happens.
The worst part is that, like, while it doesn't make sense and it was such bullshit, the seeding tournament, I remember being very fun.
Well,
the games themselves were fun, but it's just like, who gives a single fuck because it's so stupid.
Right. It didn't mean anything. I'm pretty sure how it was is that last year for this, the seeding tournament was a thing, but it had like the SEC bracket led into that.
Right.
So you could play through SEC, and then that's part of your seeding as well.
Right.
But you could also get eliminated in that tournament because it only took like the top 4 or something.
Yeah.
So
way better.
Right. It would have, completely taken away from some of this, which would have been nice. But next time, I think a ton of people complained, so I'm sure they'll get it through. I doubt this will ever happen again.
Well, do they view it like they view tanks, or do they feel like they view damages? Because if they view it like they view damages, it'll be changed by the next one. If they feel like they view tanks, we're not going to have a normal tournament again until 2030.
We haven't had a change yet. It's been tanky meta for a whole week now, right?
I know, it's crazy.
Nothing's changed yet, so.
It's not even a tanky meta. It's like just balanced, pretty much. It's probably slightly favored towards tanks, but it's pretty balanced.
It definitely favors it a little bit.
But not by a ton.
I wouldn't say it's anything crazy.
It is mostly just a few characters who abuse the tankiness.
Right.
Like, not every tank is insane right now. It's like Ravana is broken as fuck.
Yeah. I mean, and stuff like this, he always will be. I don't know. I don't understand why they tweaked his passive like that.
Yeah,
they just wanted him to be tankier.
Even in a bad spot before.
No. But Ravana, I hate playing against that guy.
Yeah.
I just feel like you can never kill him. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
But, all right, let's get through this. I'll get through this little bracket. Really, it was the Mambo and the Wargs past the 2 EU. The 2 and the 3 seeded EU teams. They made it in. Mambo played the Gladiators and won 2-0.
Woo! Sex Mambo.
Yeah, Julio was like soloing these teams. He started out 0-6.
Possessed.
Started out 0-6 in a game against game 2 against the Gladiators. Finished with a godlike and a pentakill in that same game. I feel like if I'm 0-6, I'm crushed. I'm done after that. But he decided he wasn't. That's his passive. He's kind of like Reed. Gotta tell him he's doing bad. And he'll pick it up.
No, I'm not doing bad. What are you talking about?
Uh-huh.
They just decided they're not doing bad. Hey, what are you talking about? I'm not doing bad. And they look at the scoreboard.
Yeah. You would have never guessed he had that rough of a start looking at it now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, really nothing crazy there. Glads played bad.
Glads are bad.
Glads are bad. The Hounds Wargs.
Hounds Wargs.
That went. I think
Vaporous Coast is a hugger.
he is a hugger. If you're in that booth after you guys win a game, you watch out. You're gonna squeeze. I would take one.
I would too,
I'd hug you,
dude.
man.
The hype those hugs generated carried them to 4 straight wins.
That's true. Yeah, I think I missed that first game, but I know the Hounds were up to the Wargs. A solid play by them. And then Benny Q in game 2. I don't know if you saw Twitch chat during that. You said you caught one of these games.
Yeah, I caught
But
game
Benny Q
2, but I
played
don't think I was
Raw.
looking at Twitch chat.
He absolutely popped off on Raw. And Twitch chat was spamming. If Benny Q and my girl are drowning, catch my girl's funeral with Benny Q on Raw. And I mean, he was popping off, and then they just didn't ban it for game 3, and he carried again.
Yeah, probably a bad idea.
Well, they were saying every day that week, Deathwalker was walking around the studio telling everyone that Raw was OP. They said he was trying to spread misinformation, but the Hounds took it and believed it and made
Yeah,
it work.
it's not even the team that Deathwalker was coaching. It's just a different ass team.
Oh, yeah, I think Raw was banned a couple times throughout this tournament. Did they? I can't remember what games it was, but
Hex
yeah,
Mambo did not play Raw against the Warriors. I can tell you that
right.
much.
Well, the Warriors played Raw against them. So that was the deciding factor.
That's fucking hilarious. Oh, Hex
Yeah.
Mambo banned Raw in game 1.
Did they really? I
Yeah,
thought.
that was the last ban. It was ban 5, but still.
Oh yeah, I totally missed that. And for good reason, I guess. They got it next, and
That's fucking funny.
it was the mid lane brothers.
Yeah, did they
Anything
play
until
him
down.
against the Glads? Nope. Apparently Hawk only plays Discordia. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think that's all they. Because if you give Johnny a disco passive,
That's true.
then what?
When you're a mid
What's
laner
that?
and your entire job is to be there so your jungler does more damage,
Right.
to exist within the game, so your jungler can hurt more. Oh, you played Baba
Um.
Yaga against one of the games against the Wards. Oh,
Yeah,
and
because I think
Giannis.
they did they ban Discordia. I know they made him play something else. I think it was the Oni Warriors that ended up banning Discordia.
I don't see. Oh, did they ban Disco in game 2?
Yeah.
Oh, they picked Disco game 1. That's why.
That makes sense. Describe it before him.
Yep.
Uh,
Didn't
but
work out. So
you still need to. Sometime you need to go in and watch the clip. Game
yes,
1, the Mambo
game
tried to
1 of
end.
Mambo versus Warriors.
I think
37 HP Titan.
they wiped all but Solo or Troll. I think, and he was in base on Achilles. And I mean, they just didn't. Some like half of them wanted to commit to it, and half of them didn't. If they were all standing in the Titan room right there, they win that game.
Right.
They weren't in it reset before he could hit the last auto. So Hex Mambo should have won one game there.
But
It would
they
have made it interesting, but they didn't.
if
And
if ifs
yeah,
and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
what the hell does that even mean?
I don't know. I've heard it before though. I
Candy,
didn't make it up.
ifs and buts, candies and nuts.
If ifs and
Mm,
buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
that does sound like a good time. I was
It does.
sniffing butts.
I think the point specifically is that there would no longer be butts. There would be candies and nuts instead.
Good thing I love both of those.
You love candies and nuts?
Yeah. Do you not?
They're Pretty good. What's your favorite nut?
The middle one.
I knew. I thought you were gonna say the third one, but middle is
Almonds.
the third one.
I'm a big cashew guy, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
I'm a
not
fan of
actually like a
cashews.
huge nut guy. They're fine.
Really, that's surprising. You come off as a nut guy to me.
Yeah. What can I say?
Fair.
Yeah. I don't know where to go with this.
I don't know what I can
We've
say.
tangented so hard for no reason.
Okay, I'm moving on to the next one.
Alrighty.
These were the games that happened like before the bracket was even decided. The Kings and the Dragons.
Yes. The
The Dragons
Dragons
just
are good,
looked
turns
good.
out. They had a
The
six
Kings,
game losing streak, and I think other than that, they've only lost one game, two games.
other than that,
Yeah. No, they lost three games. Okay, never mind. I don't know how to do math. Point is, they've been pretty good other than their 6 game losing streak. They just got
right? They
really
had
cold for a while, and now that they're not cold
really
anymore, they're
cool.
good.
Yeah,
Really
they figured
wish
some stuff out.
Lasbra could be tournament Lasbra in the regular season. That'd be good for my fantasy. Holy
Right.
fuck, he popped off.
I'm glad we're not getting points for this because
Yeah,
my
well, your team
teams
is
are out.
the Ravens, half the
Yeah.
Ravens.
Ravens,
Uh,
Kings, and Berryman.
yeah, you got still have Ferryman.
Yeah, it's 1 out of 3.
Yeah,
Close enough. Good enough.
I have some people. I'm trying to. I have
You're like a
three.
Dragons, Leviathans.
Yeah, Dragons, Leviathans, and then Warriors and Glads.
Wow, true.
I have
Oh, I forgot
Warriors
you.
and Dragons.
Oh, I forgot you got Jake. That's crazy.
Yep. Can't believe I got him in the fourth round.
Don't act like you knew he was going to be OP.
I knew he was going to be the best of the supports available at the time. There
Good
was
point.
Wrong and Aurora, and I picked Jake over both of them. Mostly because I like Awesome Jake, but
You're Jake Ryder.
I'm a Jake rider.
What can I say?
Yep.
What can you say, Alex? Okay.
Some
Love
words. I know a couple of them. Uh,
Leviathans. Ferryman?
I just want to mention real quick, Variety sucks.
Oh, yeah. He's not very good.
Also, Twig did not have a very good set either, to be
Yeah, I
fair.
don't think any of the Kings really played the best.
They definitely did not play their best, for sure.
Right.
They need a change. Hopefully, it is Kana for Variety,
I think
since
they should
that
put you
seems to
in
be
there.
a rumor right now.
You
I
think
mean,
you
I
could do it?
proposed this to you as a joke in text in a text, but maybe the Ferryman and Kings make a little trade of Variety for Sino. It's just so
That
ridiculous.
there's no way that ever
There's no way the
works
Ferryman
out.
ever make that trade, and I,
Right. And
I don't think it would help the Kings that much either.
I'm very curious to watch these games coming up to see how Sino, if he like, because he just did fine this first game. He did fine. They won. So is he going to keep doing fine or is he going to start throwing again? Is he going to pop off?
Is he gonna pop off? That's the question.
All questions to ask yourself. But yeah, I want to be like for certain, like this is his meta. He's going to do good. But I mean, I just haven't seen enough from him. And really for
All
the
right, one
Ferryman
game does
Leviathan
not
set,
make a jungler.
right? Adapting just didn't show up to these games.
Yeah,
And I think that really hurt him because he was like their hard carry.
yeah.
So had some weird builds, somewhat. But yeah, I think that hurt the Leviathans. I think they are better than they played this week for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
They
So
are definitely having a couple issues.
it happens. Which I just wish we would get to see more of each team because someone even said it's going to be like literally a different patch next time they play.
Right.
These teams
You're
get to play
going to
one
see
game on this patch.
one game on this patch from some of these teams. Jesus.
That's so annoying. I don't know. Seems counterintuitive.
Yes.
Uh, and
Yeah, they
the
need to
Ravens
not do
do that.
tournaments. They need to do tournaments right before a new patch, not right after.
See, no, I like it being right after because then everyone has to learn who's adapted the new stuff better. You know,
Right, but
everyone
I don't
has to
like that
do it.
for tournaments. I feel like the tournament is supposed to sort of be like the culmination of everything that happened before.
Right.
And when
No,
it's a
that
new
makes
patch,
sense.
it's just like a different shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I mean, the my only problem with that is, you have a team who's obviously and it's I guess that's not even a problem. You're gonna have a team who's obviously on top in that meta, like the Warriors are now. And if this patch they just don't play as well into, then they're not the top team for the tournament. But I guess if they're top all year long, then they kind of deserve to still have that
Right.
boost or whatever behind them. No.
Yeah.
Ravens, Towns. This was border side number one team
Yes.
against the
Order side number 4 team.
four team, yeah. And the Ravens didn't show up.
This
That
core
one went
tends
to
to
our
not in tournaments.
Yeah, for sure.
Apparently, unless they're playing against Hex Mambo.
Right. I know that, dude. Last year, of course, that was the one game they had to show up to.
Yeah.
Haddix looked really good on the Ravana, but who doesn't? And then Scream just kind of threw all 3-8. He went 3-8 one game, and then 2-5. So yeah, super glad that this hasn't gotten toward fantasy points.
Scream is struggling.
But I know you talked about them replacing him, and I don't think that's anything that
Not
happened.
not yet. I don't think they should replace him yet, for sure.
I mean, yeah, if he keeps playing like that,
Yeah, I think it's like I could definitely see it coming. Basically,
right?
like Scream replacement is like on the rise.
Yeah, he would. I'm trying to think of what. I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
he's been a
it's one of those
poor
things where it's like for the Ravens, is
performer on
like
the team.
Scream can win or lose you a game. I don't really know if they need that. You know what I mean?
Right? They just need
They could
something
just get a
consistent.
jungler who just like does okay. That might be
Right,
better
because
for him. I don't know.
that is how he seems to have been. Is like you're either doing extremely well, and then your team wins, or you're just throwing.
Right? He's extremely volatile.
Right. It's in my ass.
Did you figure ass is extremely volatile?
Yeah, I think that's how the doctors just describe it.
Okay. Well, Venenu and Haddix both look very good.
Yeah, I
Both look
mean,
not enough.
right. There's only so much you can do. There was one point. Oh, it was such a cluster, man. Um, they had Venenu. They had all three Phoenixes down. The Ravens, and Venenu was in there defending all the fire waves by himself, while all four of the other members of their team was the enemy's yellow buff, waiting for someone to walk out of base and try to kill him. It was just such a cluster. The calls were really bad.
Right.
I think he could barely do it. The Titan took so much damage, and then they could just walk in and
Right. I'm looking at Quig's stats for game 2, and I'm actively coming.
Eddie,
Okay, so
what?
the Hounds had 20 kills in that game, right?
I
He was playing Ganesha, and he was 0-4 and 18. So he was involved in 18 of his team's kills.
all but two.
Yeah, which Ducky actually had him beat. He was involved in all but one, but still, um, he he had Talisman of Energy in his build, which is whack as shit, and I love it because I love that item.
That's
And then
good,
he
man. He
had
was
27
building
wards.
fast.
What was
Yeah,
that, John?
he was building fast.
Yeah,
He had
bro,
the
he
war
was
flag and the talisman, and then he's getting the movement dagger in there.
right. Don't forget, he plays 27 wards. The goat, the ward goat.
Right. Ward goat. Yeah, he did play really good. I'm surprised because what was it? The
33 wards, game one. Holy shit! Ducky had
play in the
25.
tournament. He
Between
had
those
20.
two, there was never a point where they couldn't see part of the map. They could see the entire map the whole game with that many wards.
Right. He's all for it, man. That's the kind of guy you need on your team.
I know. Can we get him in our comp team? Jesus.
Right. Try that. Yeah, send him a message, see what he says. What else would he be doing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been impressed by the Hounds play though.
Dude.
Um I think
in game
Benny
two
Q's
against the
been
Wargs, he went 1, 2, and 16. His team had 19 kills. He had 3 items by the end of that game. He only placed 11 wards though.
Is it showing you the stats for the Wargs Hounds game?
Yes.
Huh, it will not show me that.
Get fucked, dude.
Weird. Okay, so coming up with the brackets looking like we got this is the semifinals now, so it will be best of 5.
Right.
Losers will go play for third place as well. So we got what, Warriors and Dragons,
Yep.
and then Hounds Ferryman.
Warriors are gonna beat the Dragons.
What are we breaking it down to?
3-1.
3-1 Warriors.
3-1. Dragons are looking pretty good recently.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I always get this false hope in them whenever they play because maybe the Kings were just playing that bad, you know? Because the Dragons did look good. There
Right.
was maybe like 1 or 2 times where they looked like they
Yeah, I
weren't in
mean they
control.
also beat the Ferryman in the seeding tournament.
Right. So I don't know. Are they back? Speak for yourself. 3-1 Warriors. That's where you're going. You're saying they're not. I'm saying I think I got to be realistic with myself, and I'm going 3-2 Warriors.
You think the Dragons get 2?
Yeah, I want to say Dragons win, but the Warriors are just the Warriors are just better.
I feel like you're the greatest Warriors hater of all time. I feel
See,
like
because
every week
I love
you
watching the
want to
Warriors.
predict them to lose or do predict them to lose, and they never do because they're
Yeah,
really fucking
because
good.
that's I'm trying to predict the upset, but I never can. Isn't it an upset if I try to predict it every single week? I mean, yeah, but I'm just
Yes.
wrong all the time. No, I love watching them play. I
All right. Here, you want to hear how I have Hounds Ferryman going? Ferryman go
yeah.
up 2-0, right? Shit stomp the Hounds. Shit stomp them first 2 games, right? Hounds
Mm-hmm.
win 1 game. Coach gets up, gives everybody a hug, and they come surging
That's
back
it.
and win the whole thing in a
That's it.
reverse sweep.
3-2 Hounds.
3-2 Hounds off the
Yeah,
back of Coast, giving everybody a big ol' hug.
the hugs would be too much.
Yeah. The Eldritch hugs.
Eldritch hugs. That's a good one.
Thank you.
You gotta
It's
trademark
really not, but thank you.
that. Trademark that. Get that out there. Make a T-shirt. See, I don't know. I can see this being close. I'm thinking Ferryman just take this. Is it that close? Is the jungle difference going to be that much? Yeah. Give me. I'm going 3-1 Ferryman.
You don't think the hugs are going to be enough?
No.
Hater.
I think Sino's going to start hugging people. It's gonna be Hounds win game 1, and then Sino starts hugging people.
You know what? That's even better. After game 2, Sino gets up and like tries to hug his team to like mock them. His entire team is repulsed by him.
No one hugs Sino back. The entire
the
Ferryman
morale goes in the shitter and they lose.
They throw everything away.
Sorry, Sino. That was very mean, but it's a funny visual in my head.
Whenever that's actually they have Aurora. Aurora would be the guy to do that.
Oh, for sure. He looks like a teddy bear.
Dude, he popped after game 1. He stood up. He like launched out of his chair and was jumping around the entire booth. Scared the shit out of me. It was like a jump scare. All right. Then what? You have Warriors Hounds. Who's winning that?
The Warriors are gonna go up 2-0.
Don't even.
Coast is gonna get up. He's gonna give everybody a big ol' hug, and then they're still gonna lose game 3 because it's the Warriors.
You got it. 3-0.
No, I'll give him 1 because that's when the hugs happen, right? He only hugs when they win.
Yeah.
Right. So if they get 1, he does the hugs again, and then they just lose the next one anyways.
Okay, 3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got Warriors beating Ferryman 3-1 as well. I think they'll take it.
All right, and then I have
They deserve
Ferryman
it.
Dragons for the 3rd place match. I mean, we just saw it. Give me the repeat. Dragons 3-1. Fuck the Ferryman.
Wow.
All my homies hate the Ferryman.
That's fair. I don't know why, man. You're such a hater. Yeah, I'm taking Dragons over Hounds though. I'll go 3-2. I feel like I'm a horrible analyst. I just like guessing. I like writing numbers down. I'm not an analyst, so I don't even know why I said that.
Yeah.
I'm a guesser. And
I'm the analyst here. The problem is that the type of analyst I am most closely resembles Skip Bayless.
So guessing again.
Yeah. But he doesn't guess. He tries to be as wrong as possible because it's good content.
You're right about most things, I feel like.
Yeah. Somehow.
I take that back.
So it's because this league doesn't make any goddamn sense. Because I've been trying to be wrong the whole goddamn season, and I keep being right.
I'm all for it. It keeps it interesting.
Yeah. I'm the anti-Skip Bayless. He can't be right. I can't be wrong.
You're wrong. Okay. So what I've been waiting for this.
Yes.
You said you texted me. When was that? It's like 2 nights ago at 2 or 3 nights ago. Probably like 3 a.m. Maybe it wasn't that. When was it? Monday. Oh, I guess it was 9:30 p.m. Not early in the morning.
Yeah, it was when I was at
you
work.
had something. You had something crazy to say, but I had to wait until now.
Yes, I've been looking at stats and through teams and stuff, and I think I've found a team that desperately needs a change, and nobody is talking about it. Nobody is talking about how bad this team needs to change, and I think they need to change something about their team desperately. Maybe even more than like the Ferrymen or the Kings do.
Okay, so it's not the Ferryman or the Kings.
No. It is a team we have not talked about potentially needing a change like at all. And the thing is I don't think they're going to make the change, and I'm not even sure who they would change. Okay?
Is it the okay? Is it the Leviathans?
It is the Leviathans, John.
Oh, are you changing? You're changing Zapman, aren't you?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know who I'm changing, but I'm looking at what they've done so far this season, and they desperately need to do something else. Like, desperately.
So what makes you say that?
Okay, so far, this entire season, between all the competitions, right, they have won 5 games, right? 3 of their
5
wins are
sets.
against the Gladiators. Who gives a shit if you can beat the Gladiators? I know they've beaten them convincingly every time. They haven't even given up a game against the Glads in like 7 total games. But
Okay,
who
when you
gives a
say
shit if you
games,
can beat the
are you
Glads?
meaning like
Anybody can
total
beat the Glads.
sets?
Hmm? Yeah, I'm just looking at
E-
sets.
Okay,
I'm looking at set wins.
so they played the Gladiators in 3 separate sets and won every single game.
Yes, convincingly.
Okay,
But that is 3 of their 5 set wins so far this season. And they've played like 14 sets. So they're 5-9. 3 of their 5 wins are against the Glads. One of their other wins was against the Jade Dragons, which was during their previously mentioned 6-game losing streak, where they couldn't do jack shit and lost to the Glads. So, not an impressive win there either. Even though the
right.
Dragons outside of that have been pretty decent, um, like that was at a point when they were dog shit. No other team has lost 6 games in a row, not even the Gladiators. That's how bad the Dragons were during that set.
Yeah.
And then their final win was against the Kings, which is their most impressive win for sure. But it was 3-2, and it was against a Kings team that at this point right now in their last 9 games is
It's not like
2
a
and
5
7,
losing.
which is the
Yeah.
worst of any team since week 3. Since week 3, the Kings are 2 and 7. That is the worst of any team since that point, and that's the Leviathan's 5th win. They haven't beaten
So
any team that has looked at like any level competent so far.
nothing good.
Yes.
So I guess it's just, and now we won't even get to see them until next another month.
Right.
Anyway, which is frustrating. But yeah, it's almost like, people were on the fence about him at first. Shinto wasn't here, and they thought that was the problem. Then he comes back and they won one of those games when he came back.
Um,
And people thought,
if they
oh,
did,
this is.
I think they.
It was either the game when he came back or the one after it.
If they did, it would have been against the Glads because when they beat the
Right.
Dragons would have been too early. Also,
Right. And so
another point I should make is that the team the Dragons beat to end their 6-game losing streak was the Leviathans.
yeah. I think it's part of that is harder too. You're in a division with the Warriors, and so it's almost like one game. Obviously, no one's going to be able to win, but they have to do it twice.
Right.
It makes you look a little worse, for sure. I think any of these teams would look better if you put them in the Order division. I'm not sure, but
I mean, would they, the Leviathans, didn't beat any of the Order division teams?
I know. But you say you get 2 times to play them. I'm not saying they're good. I'm not saying there's not something wrong, but yeah, that's just such. Because where do you even start like finding a problem there?
Right. I mean,
I know.
here's the thing. This is gonna start heading in the direction you think it's gonna go, and then it's gonna take a swerve. I promise. Okay.
Okay,
So
but I know okay.
the Leviathans have the worst dual lane in the league.
Yep. And you're going on the support. I knew this was that was going to be my first counter argument was going to be against him, against removing him. But yeah, where are you going with this?
The best NA player not in the SPL right now might be Gamma, and he's just hanging out. And it's one of those things where even if Gamma is worse than Wrong at this point, I think the Leviathan just need to change something to try something else. You know? So
Right.
maybe you get Gamma in over Wrong. But here's the thing. even though I think that maybe would be the play I would make if I had full control of the roster and it's tactically correct, I feel like it's pretty unlikely that that would happen. I feel like Rongi, Zatman, and Shinto probably are pretty unlikely to be splitting up.
Yeah, I I agree. Um, that's the only reason because I could see something like that happening. But I don't think they've been playing bad enough that they're looking for an immediate change right away.
Right. I also
But
agree that I don't think they're going to be looking for a change. Like, I don't think this is going to happen. I'm just saying I think it should
right,
because they
yeah,
haven't shown anything at all to me that would show that they could come back next split and like do a thing besides
look
beat the
decent.
Glads and maybe a team that's slumping again.
How did you even come across this? You said you were at work thinking about it,
Yeah, I was just thinking about stuff. I don't know.
and then
I
how
was
did you
like,
have all these stats?
who have the Leviathans even beat? You know, I was thinking about that, and I was like, I know they beat the Glads like 3 times. What are their other wins? And I was like, oh,
Right,
their other wins are complete dog shit.
against nothing important.
Yeah,
Hmm. Definitely something to think about. I mean,
yeah. Like it's one of those things where it's like it feels like one of those things where they should make a change because they need to do something different.
right,
Personally, like I was saying that like wrong you out gamma in, I think replacing Zapman would be the best call because he just hasn't looked very good for a while, in my opinion. But a lot of
right.
people would
But
disagree with me on that.
well,
You know,
I mean, and then we had this conversation before. I can't remember if we had started this or not. But who's the next best carry? Who are you bringing in?
I mean, here's the thing: you don't bring in somebody from the SEC, you get Stewart off the glass.
Right. Okay. I mean, that's a. But who's coming up? You know, or is that man just going down? Are they just doing a little switch right there?
They might. I don't know. At that point, it wouldn't be up to the Leviathans. Would the Leviathans give a shit what happens there?
Right.
They got the guy they wanted. This is Zapman and the Glass can figure their own shit out.
Yeah.
If they want to, if Zapman goes to the Glass, then cool. If they like bring up Wowie or convince Echrome to come over or something, then
That be it.
cool.
Right. I think they will rest a lot longer on that man. I think it would take a lot. It'd be like phase 3, getting
Right,
ready to go into kind of world's time, getting ready
right,
for it. But I mean, even then, it's like you're gonna want Zatman's been to like he's been in almost every worlds. I think is it Twig who's been to every single one? I'm not sure who it is, but yeah, just the experience has to mean something as well.
right.
I would imagine.
But I mean, like, if you can't get far enough, the experience matters. Who cares?
That's true. No, that's a good point.
I'm
Yeah,
trying
something
to.
I didn't realize though that the Leviathans were looking that stinky.
Yeah.
But
The Smite
you
Esports
know,
Wiki only has tournaments up to the kickoff tournament of last year. I was trying to see what the Leviathans did like last season. You know?
just in the whole last season.
Yeah, like in terms of tournaments. You know what I mean?
Oh, would that be
Because
under?
like the argument is that like oh having Zapman wins you tournaments, but like
Or
has
what?
it been doing that since the kickoff tournament of last year? I have no
What
idea.
I mean, he's won. Is he at 3 worlds right now?
I mean, he
I think.
is, but like that wasn't
Anything
last
since
year.
world,
you know,
right? No, you're right.
they got eliminated in the first round of Worlds last year, and that was a team with fucking like Shinto, Panatom, and Haddix.
Yeah,
They're
that team
fucking like
did
the
not
best
show up.
fucking players in their position like in the world right now, and they
Right.
couldn't make it out of the first round. And they had
They
Zapman, who
just,
supposedly is a free Worlds win according to some people. They didn't make it out of the first round.
I mean, yeah, you have to think he's won the what? Not this last one, but the last three before that. But
Yeah,
then that means he also didn't win the first five or
right,
whatever. So it it's a good percentage.
right.
I will say.
I mean, yeah, but like, I would probably make the argument that he was like the worst player on the team that won Worlds last time he was on it, or last time he won it.
Right. I mean, I think he was always considered one of the worst, but then when you do it three times in a row, it makes you question, maybe he's not. Maybe he's got something else
I
going
mean, I
on.
don't know. There have been role players who have won like 5 NBA championships who like play 4 minutes a game because they're just on the right rosters at the right time. You
Right.
know?
Is that is is that man a phony?
I mean,
Is
I don't
that
know
man
if
a
he's a
fake?
phony, but
Is that man the worst Smite player ever?
I don't think him being on a team that
That should be
won
our title.
championships while probably being the worst player on those teams, and he didn't even do it last year, it should be enough that he stays on the roster, you know?
Right.
But I think he will, and then the Leviathans are going to have another bad phase, and it's just going to be like, well, what the fuck do we do?
You know, I want the Leviathans to be good. I'm a
I
big
do
fan.
too! I have
I mean, you
Final
deserve.
Shinto on my fantasy team. I want
I
him to
know
win every fucking
your
game.
fantasy wants Leviathans to be good.
I like adapting as well.
Yeah, I'm a big adapting fan. It's cool. I want them to be good just so he can get some more important wins under his belt.
All right.
I think the biggest problem with the Leviathans, it seemed like they didn't know the meta yet coming into this.
Yeah.
They also had wrong you play Aphrodite support, which I mean is proven to not work.
Yeah.
Um, Zapman played Soul both games and looked bad. I mean, and I thought the Soul pick was bad, but Barracuda played it and he looked, I mean, halfway decent,
All right.
but it wasn't enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, doing that also put Shinto onto physical mids, which he didn't really do very well on. I mean, I don't know if
Right.
that was just because the team wasn't doing well, but 2-3-1 and 2-3-5 aren't great.
Yeah, I also think the set was an interesting pick. I don't know how I felt about that. They also went a triple assassin, um, which I'm not sure
Yeah, I mean, I think
what my thoughts on
Assassin's
that
pretty
are,
good
but
right now.
the Mana Chorus, just every team it's been on ever since it's got this most recent nerf, just hasn't looked. It's obviously not the same. It feels a lot weaker, but I don't know if it's enough to be picking
Right.
consistently. And I think what Benny Q was playing Amuse and Cobb again instead of the Mana Core. Yeah, and so I think he just does. They do the same exact thing.
Right.
They're the ability carries, but I think Amuse and Cobb might be just a little. That's hard to say. Just because I mean, having the ultimate on the Mana Core is so nice. Being able to not be killed for 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
Right.
But I just feel like he's fallen off a little.
Yeah.
And putting that on your hard carry isn't what you want.
Right. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, Zapman, like, what Zapman's good at is like using himself as bait and then like turning around and killing the whole team. Right? That's like what Zapman's known for. And I mean he's pretty good at it, but the problem with him on the Leviathans is that they don't need that. But like they don't need somebody who can like do that sort of thing and like carry them to wins. They have two hard carries. They just need like a solid role player who's going to do like decent damage in a fight and not die very much and be there for
Right.
sieges.
Yeah, that's the
Which
hard part.
is like the definition of Stewart. Which is why I think that if I was the Leviathans, that would be the move I would make.
Right. I just want to say, I would love to see E-Chrome on one of these teams. Like, give him a legit good team.
Right.
And then I think he would be a menace. But I'm pretty sure he's clearly showed no interest in moving
Right. That's sort
over
of the
here
problem.
for full time, which I understand.
Yeah.
It's just it's like you'll never get to see some of these players' full potential
Yeah.
because of stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. It sucks.
Death Walker back, Julio back, bring Johnny back. Man, he has 2 pentas in his career on SPL teams. One of them he wasn't even in the SPL.
Right.
And well, when he was in the SPL for that 1 year, he was on LAN the whole time or on
Ping.
ping. So that's
Yeah.
too bad. You'll never get to see his full potential when he's here because I mean he's not going to move back for a season. I can't ever.
Right.
No.
Yeah, no, it sucks.
Same with any sport, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
What? Did you have anything else along with that? You wanted to?
I do just want to mention we were talking about how the Kings might be replacing Variety with Kana or CX Naha or however you pronounce his name.
Yeah, right.
But like honestly, I hope they don't because they don't deserve it. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think they deserve it. I think
They don't deserve it.
with Variety. No, they don't deserve an upgraded solo because I know they were coming off a world championship, right? But in the offseason, SOT, Final K, and Haddix were all free agents, and Variety was the clear weak point of that team. You could have upgraded him. I don't care if you were world champions. Everybody knew that the way to beating the Kings was to put pressure on Variety. Everybody knew that. It was like fucking a giant ass glowing red weak point on a boss, and they just didn't fix it when they could have. You're telling me Haddix wouldn't have signed for that team? He left his team mid-season. He was a free agent. Of course he's going to sign with the Kings if they offer.
Right. I mean, my only thing though is back when you're winning, like it didn't matter that Variety was there. It was like he was still doing what he needed to do, and they were unbeatable. I mean, they 3-0'd literally every single team
Right,
in that.
yeah, for 12 games, it wasn't a problem. For the entire rest of the time this core has been together, it was a problem.
Right.
And then it's a problem again, and they're losing because of it. And they could, like, if they had Haddix, they might have never lost again. They might still be undefeated if they had Haddix. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, I mean, Haddix is definitely playing like the best solo laner. I mean, I don't think Genetics has been playing great. I don't think, obviously, Captain Twig, I know you've talked about it yourself, hasn't been playing great some of these games.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
I
I
mean,
think
how much of that
obviously,
is because Variety is dog shit and opens up zero space for them?
right.
Haddix would open up 400 miles of fucking space, and then it wouldn't matter how they're playing as long as BMT and Yarkor are being BMT and Yarkor.
Land an airplane there.
Yeah, like
I mean, I will say you have to respect the want to run it back. You did it once with your team, and now you realize maybe that's not that's not reachable with the same team this year. So it's time to switch things up a little bit.
let
And
me.
so I gotta respect that a little bit.
I mean, I kind of get it, right? But the problem is that like that's not how you continue to win by staying the same.
Right, but I mean, if we go and we win, every single game for one season or whatever, we went out. We're looking the most dominant team ever. Or the next year, you're not going to think, hey, let's just not make any changes right away because we're still the most dominant team ever. You gotta try it. You gotta at least try to run it back.
I mean, they it's not like they'd never lost before, you know what I mean?
Right. I
But
mean, but
like
rarely.
and is they had giant fucking glowing weak spot. Like it was super obvious what their weakness was, is the thing. Like extremely so.
Well, it must not have been that obvious because they didn't drop a single game in Worlds.
Oh yeah, during Worlds
I
they didn't
mean,
drop a single game, yes. But it's not like they hadn't dropped a single game the entire season.
right. And I think a lot of it can't be. I don't know. I don't remember the games from every single game last season, but surely not every single game would have been lost off the back of variety. I think this has to be one of his worst splits by far. But I don't remember off the top of my head.
I'm looking something up here. Give me one moment.
Variety was putting up better numbers than SOT. At least in phase 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like maybe not like SOT, right? Like he was a younger player, but I can get why they wouldn't. But like, um, Haddix and Fine okay, we're right there.
Right. That would have been a clear. And I think someone said think stuff was talked about, discussed. I'm sure it was.
Right.
But they just decided to run it back. All I'm saying is you gotta respect it. Those are obviously your friends. You've been with them for the past 2 years. Not your core, but
Right.
the other ones. So it's like, if we were on a team, obviously I'd want to stay. Um, try to stay on the same team, do it again.
Right.
And if it doesn't work out, then you switch it up later.
I'm trying so hard, but
What are you looking for?
I'm trying to figure out. I almost have it. Where the fuck are they? God damn it.
Well, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. No. So like, when when the Paul Zatman team won Worlds the first time, right? They
Yeah.
had Sam on their roster. They had Sam for soccer on their roster. The next season, they had to change their roster, and then they won Worlds again because they changed their roster instead of staying the same. I'm not even sure if it was a pure upgrade, but they seems like they felt like they needed a change, and they changed, and they won Worlds again.
What happened there is that Sam ended up going to the Dragons because the Dragons were supposed to be better. So it's not like they kicked him; it's he left. Sam
And they
left that
won
team.
because of it, though. I mean, maybe not
Right,
because of it, but they won. They made changes,
in
and they
this
still won.
in this situation though, it's not like variety. No one's picking up variety as an upgrade in the off season. It would be different if it was like big man tings. If a team's being put together and they want this really good mid laner, or genetics or someone like that, you want a really good support, you pick them up, and then the Kings have to fill that spot. That's what happened there. I mean, it's not like I don't think the Kings you would ever kick a player and get a replacement. That's a personal opinion, though, I suppose.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but like that's not how you win. You know what I mean?
Right. It worked for some. What didn't? Season 2 and season 3, the adapting team was the exact same. I'm pretty sure. Both years they
I
stuck it
believe
out.
so. It looks like.
Who knows? Maybe they figure out what's wrong and then turn it around.
I don't know.
Variety's like also 50 years old.
I
That's not
know.
true. No, what is?
Honestly,
I
I
don't know
think
how
that's
old
what
he
you do. Is you be like, "Hey, Variety, do you mind
is. Retire.
retiring, and then we can
And
replace you
that,
without
I
feeling
think
bad?"
that could be a big possibility because I mean, if he ends up off this team, I don't know where he's going. And at that point, are you wanting to even play competitive fight anymore?
Right.
Maybe maybe if he moves home, does USCC? I could see
Right.
that, but
I don't know. Maybe I'm
um,
just too ruthless, but like I want to fucking win,
right.
and it's like when you have such a clear, obvious weak spot in Variety,
No,
like
and I do think
you
they
should
need to
change that.
replace him now. I just at the time back then in the offseason, I think or you can't consider him the huge glaring weak spot. I think he was one of their weaker links, but it was nothing like he is now.
I mean, it wasn't as bad, but
That's what
everybody
I'm
knew
saying.
that the way you beat the Kings is to focus Variety.
You keep saying that, but I don't think that's how any team beat the Kings is just playing it through variety, Because there would be games where he was still 0-7 and they would kick your ass. You know? I don't think variety was great, but I don't think that was just the key to everything against them. That's why they were winning, is because there was nothing, you could do to beat them. At that point, you play by killing variety, and all the other players are going to punish you for it.
Yeah.
So I guess they knew how to play around him better, it seemed like.
I don't know. I
But
feel
no,
like he was a weakness, like pretty clearly.
see, and yeah, that's fair. He could be the worst one on the team, which I would agree. He was the worst one on the team. You could have made an argument for any of the other four being MVP at finals. I think Captain Twig, purely based on the fact that for the whole story thing. But yeah, I just don't know if I'm ripping the Band-Aid off
If
right like
you're
that.
not a player on that team and you are just strictly a manager of the team, and you hear that Haddix is a free agent, is there any fucking world where you're not making that move?
Right. I mean, I think if you think about it in, as a team manager, basketball, as someone who's running a business, but that's not the same here. It just isn't. And there's no, all the people who make these decisions are all on a team together. Your buddies, your friends. And I think that would impact your choices to a degree. And I think by arguing that it isn't is just crazy.
Yeah.
Sure, you can look at it from a tactical. Sure, if you can upgrade any role, any position, if you could choose, there's no salary cap. Obviously, everyone's gets paid the same here. But if you could convince the top 5 people at every role to come play, then yeah, that would be probably the best thing strategically to do. But it's just not possible. That's who knows. if either of those guys would have gone to that team.
I think Haddox
Either.
100% would have.
Yeah.
I mean, he
He
left the Bolts in the middle of the season to go to the Livens because he thought it gave them a better chance at winning.
if
You're telling me he wouldn't
the
go to the team that just won the championship when he was a free agent?
right if the Ravens end up losing like first round of this next tournament, like they don't either win it or get like second or third, then I think he could hop ship again and go to a different team. Because I mean, yeah, if so right now, say Haddox opens up, Haddox says he's leaving the Ravens. What team isn't going to pick him up? You know, the Ferrymen and the Warriors.
Yeah.
I could see that happening.
I get what you're saying, but it's just like, I wasn't watching the SPL, and like going into the season, I knew Variety, like playing through Variety was how you were supposed to beat the Kings. You know, like I'd
I mean,
heard other
I
people
feel like you're
saying that.
simplifying it. You're making it way simpler than it is.
I mean, yeah. Well, I'm supposed to go into every minute detail about how Haddock's, would have been better and blah 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 blah, and how they were still able to win even though other teams were able to play through Variety and all of the friendship stuff. You know, like if I wanted to boil this down to like every minute, human part and statistical detail, we would be here for 20 fucking hours.
Right.
I can't go over like every part of it, but
Yeah. I mean,
it's not like I was asking them to kill Variety.
no, I get
I'm
it. I
just
get
saying,
it.
like, I feel like it was when they're like three best solo laners in the league are free agents, and your weakest point is solo lane.
There was a point at this season where I thought maybe killing Variety would be the way to go. I will say, but I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely now more than ever. I I think it was something you could risk not changing in the off season, but especially now, I think you've ran your time,
Right.
and it's time to switch things up if you want to try to win.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they, can't still be friends with Variety just because they're not on a team with them anymore.
Right? No, exactly. I mean, as long as they don't kill him.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which I was never asking for. I just want to make that clear. At no point did I say the Kings should have killed Variety in this past offseason. Just that they should
Thought
have
about it.
replaced him. I mean, especially because at that time as well, like Variety, it's not like Variety would be out of the league at that time.
Right.
Like right now, I don't know if he gets picked up by another team. At the time, he was definitely still viewed as good enough.
Yeah, and
So it's not like they
that's
would have been fucking his life over. He
that's
would have
kind
just
of
been on a
the
different
reason
team.
I'm saying it makes more sense to not make a change then than it would now.
Right, because he was viewed as better. But
Right.
very good players were available in his role.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know what the thought was behind him.
I'm
You're
sure
gonna
it's they, wanted to run it back because he's their friend. Like I'm sure that's why they didn't do it.
right,
But I'm an asshole, and if I'm gonna be competing in a league where I'm getting paid money and I get paid more money if I win games, fuck friendship. I'm gonna try to get the best team possible together.
right,
And like because it's not even just like they get paid the same if they're bad. They get paid more if they're good. Like by not changing out Variety, they were potentially sacrificing money by by not upgrading him.
yeah,
And with how they perform, it's pretty clear that they have sacrificed financially for keeping him.
yeah. What I mean, has there been only 1, 2 tournaments so far worth money?
I have no idea if the
That they
kickoff tournament was worth money or not, but I know
no,
this
I the
tournament
play
is and the playoffs were.
right.
I don't know if the kickoff was.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess they're missing out on a couple extra $1,000. I and you're right. I would if I had a real chance at
First place in this tournament gets $40,000.
right.
That's a
I mean,
lot of fucking money,
split
and
between
they get
six people.
2,500 instead.
Oh, they still get money?
They get $2,500. They get
Yeah.
37,500 less than if they would have won the tournament. Even second place gets 20,000.
Yeah, worth winning a game or two.
Yeah.
It's
I understand why they didn't do it, but
right. No, I mean, if I was in a position where I could seriously win a lot of money, and I didn't I had to cut some of my friends off the team, I think they like they would have to understand.
right. And I'm
You,
sure they were thinking that they could still win with variety, but you're significantly more likely to win with like a Haddix.
right. Well, and yeah, I think that was kind of the
Right.
thought
I guess
process
they
from
probably
before.
didn't think it would cost them.
Right.
But
They because obviously they were able to win with them then,
right.
and so why would you need to upgrade if you like these guys better?
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, if you would look back and show them their performances from this year at the end of last year, and like, hey, Variety's going to play like this, then I'm sure they would have been like, oh, okay, well, maybe let's make a change.
Right.
But it's just something you can't foresee.
Right.
What is it in the mid-season and the 2K games? They'll just get like the red arrow.
Yeah.
They'll lose. he just lost like 11 overall
Right.
in last season. But yeah, that's where I'm at on that. I'm glad we came to a understanding.
Right. No, I understand why they wouldn't do it, but I definitely still would have been on the train to get rid of him.
Right. I mean, yeah, would have.
I mean, here's the thing. Even early in before this, I don't know if you remember, before this season actually started, I was talking about how maybe they should have replaced Variety because we knew he was the weakest player on the team. And that was just right after they had won Worlds. They hadn't even lost the kickoff tournament yet.
Did
Like
you
they
say
were
that?
still on their win streak. And I was like, we know Variety is a weakness, and we know a lot of really good solo switch teams. Maybe they should have considered replacing him.
Did
And
you
now
actually
I've
say
been
that?
proven right because it's impossible for me to be wrong. I'm cursed, John. I'm cursed.
It's a curse. Let's figure out a way to use that.
Well, you think it would help me in school?
Does it not?
I mean, I did pretty well in school, but it's not like I got
Oh,
100% on everything.
it's impossible. So you're only wrong in the times where it doesn't really, or you're only right in times where it doesn't really matter.
Right, like on a Smite podcast.
That's too bad. It's like one of those useless superpowers.
Yeah.
You can be right all the time, but only when you're on the Smite podcast talking about Smite.
Yeah. You know what I
Hmm.
think I'm going to be right about?
Hmm.
I think that you're going to Gank Right Lane!
Gank Right